Hey, how's it going, everybody? Scott Spreitzer here. He's Doug Upstone. We are Us Against the Spread, brought to you by DocSports.com. Free version every Wednesday night, or it's Tuesday night, I guess I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself. Free plays every Tuesday night as we take a look at Wednesday Maction more often than any other conference, obviously, this time of the season, midweek. And we've got a couple of MAC games we're going to talk about from Wednesday's slate. Ball State, Bowling Green, Kent State at Akron. Those are the two games. And just wanted to mention before we jump into it, don't forget to check out usagainstthespread.docsports.com, where you can check out our subscription-based service in college and pro football. We talk about 8 to 10 college games every single Thursday night, and that includes also our money shot, which is our best plays from the show. And then turn around on Friday nights, and we do an NFL show where we cover each and every Sunday NFL game plus Monday Night Football. We also talk Joes versus Pros. We talk about our money shot for the weekend of the NFL. So, and you can see those records from the show and everything how we've been doing going across the bottom of your screen there. Doug, what's going on with you this week?
Yeah, with that in mind, we have done really well. You mentioned on the show exactly. You hit like 61%, I think, out of close to 150 picks. I mean, that's woo. That's
got 130 picks.
Okay, I was thinking 6 weeks. Okay, but right around in there. So anyway, so we've been doing extremely well, or you have been doing extremely well. I've hit a little bit of a good slot of late, 16-8 in the NFL the last couple of weeks, and 3-0-1 in terms of the weeks overall, and I had a really nice winning week in college football too. So yeah, so from the show standpoint, Scott, things are really trending in the right direction.
Sounds good, man. I know this past weekend was a really nice week because the previous week I had a losing week in football. And this past weekend, Doug, I was able to hit the 7-star on Saturday, turn around and hit a 6-star on previously winless Carolina on Sunday, and then wrapped it up with Detroit. That game was crazy, by the way. Just real quick thoughts on the Monday Night Football game where the Lions ended up winning and covering 26-14. That game was 41-3. I mean, my gosh, they outgained them don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it was like 490 to 170 or something like that. Yeah. Every time you looked at the game, Detroit's inside the Raiders 30, and they're either kicking field goals, missing field goals, or turning the ball over. And thank you, Jimmy G, for being unable to hit a wide open receiver in the final 2 minutes, 80 yards downfield. I appreciate the effort. But anyway, so we're going to rack it up and do it again. I've been doing my handicapping, going to have a 7-star and a 6-star. Going this weekend over at DocSports.com exclusive. You don't find those plays anywhere else. Doug and my plays, each individually, are exclusive over at DocSports.com. And it's been a nice run. Now 63-42 with my last 105 college football plays. And that top play run continues to win as I'm now 123-77 and up over $19,000. Hit 3 in a row. The weekend we had college football Saturday, NFL Sunday, and a 5-star NBA on Monday. Doug, any more thoughts before we jump into the games?
Along those same lines, Scott, nice 6-2-1 weekend for football. So I was really happy with that. And I, like you, I had to sweat it the other way. You had the full game. I had the first half. And so, it was 9-0. And I was thinking, this is just going to come and bite me. And when they went right down the field, the Raiders ran the ball down my throat. It's 9-7. I thought, oh God, this is awful. But fortunately, Detroit then started to play and got the touchdown right before the half. So that saved me on that one. So that was part of a really nice weekend. Had the Cowboys as a 6-unit play. And then college football, nice 4-2 day overall. Like I say, it hasn't been my best college football season, but hopefully this is the beginning of a really nice trend. The rest to really make November something to remember from that standpoint.
I try not to use a very overused phrase in this business, which is, well, I had right side, wrong result. Oh. But if Jimmy G connects on that 60, 70 yard or whatever it was with 2 minutes to go and backdoors Detroit, that would have been the epitome of right side, wrong result with the Lions. So thankfully it came through. All right, let's talk a little bit of Wednesday night MAC football action. It's Ball State at Bowling Green. Bowling Green laying 5.5 there, kind of a low total, but you don't expect much else from MAC matchups. This line dropped from 6.5 to 5.5, Doug, right before we started the show, or earlier in the day, I should say, on Tuesday. A whole lot of tickets on Bowling Green, man. I was checking it out. It was like I saw some books reporting 80%, more than 80% of the tickets on Bowling Green, yet that number dropped from 6.5 down to 5.5 this week. Got to give Ball State credit. They didn't throw in the towel. I mean, they were 1-6, and then all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks, they cover the spread. They get a straight-up win, Doug. But their offense is bad. And I know Bowling Green's offense is also bad, but and they're not going to catch Miami in the East, but at least they play a little bit of defense. Anyway, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, the only thing that in this game that I was thinking of, it should be played on Halloween, because these are two scary bad offenses. Okay, from that standpoint. Now in this one, Bowling Green, as you mentioned, terrible offense, 102 in the nation in scoring, but Ball State, no, far better. Okay, 129. Okay, out of 133. The total, 30 opened at 39, got bumped up to 40. If you skip the Ball State Cardinals 2 games in the SEC, where they gave up a lot of points that they played, they're still giving up 33 points per game in 2 MAC road matchups. Falcons defense actually isn't that bad. They're giving up 25 points per game on the season, and their offense has been better of late. They scored 42 points against Georgia Tech, 41 and 24 against some ordinary conference opponents the last couple of weeks. This has all the makings of a low-scoring game in theory, but you know what, this one, Scott? I'm going to go over because conference teams where the total is between 35.5 and 42 points, and a team like Ball State, or actually both teams that have poor offenses that averaging 280 yards or less per game after they have played 7 games. Most recently, that matchup is 12-4 over, and the drill down of that is 8-2 over. So I'm going to go over the 40 on this one, and I'll close it up by telling everybody. You mentioned what people are on the side. Well, I did take a side on this game. It's at the Doug Upstone page at Doc Sports right now, so you can check that out for Wednesday action.
Sounds good, man. I like that play, the total. And I also wanted to mention before we move on, because we forgot to mention it in the top of the show, is that obviously we got daily sports taking place from now, at least. Well, college basketball starts on the 6th of November. We're just 5 days or 6 days away. And then, of course, NBA's underway, and NBA still remains red hot. I usually don't like to give out a lot of NBA plays in the first few weeks of the season, but we're 3-0 the last 2 days, Sunday and Monday, and hit that 5-star. It was fun, Doug, because I hit the Hawks over the Bucks on Sunday, turned around at the Bucks, used them on Monday, and came back and used them and got 2 wins out of the 3 on those 2. But anyway, back to action. Kent State at Akron. Akron laying 4 in this game. They're at home. Speaking of bad offenses, Akron is right there with some of the worst. They did lose their starting quarterback earlier this season, talking about the Akron Zips. And so that's part of the issue. But overall, this is just not a pair of teams that you want to. Hey, man, if you're Hank Iba, you're loving this. This is a Hank Iba special. If you're under 50, Google Hank Iba. You'll see what I'm talking about. But listen, I like to look at a metric, Doug, called net points per drive. And basically what you do to find your overall ranking in net points per drive is you take your offensive net points per drive, and then you take your defensive net points per drive allowed, and you subtract the defense from the offense. You come up with your overall net points per drive. Well, check this out. Kent State is 133rd out of, guess what, 133 teams. They're 133rd on offense, 128th in net points per drive allowed on defense. They've been a single-digit dog twice this season, as they are in this game, and they did not fare all too well. They lost by 18 and 14, in fact, in those 2 games that they were single-digit dogs. So when you add it up, we have a less horrible team at Akron, and they're at home. I'm going to back the Zips in this one. And there's, as you see on the screen, 4.5. There are plenty of 4s out there now as we talk about this on Wednesday afternoon. But Doug, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I think Akron is the way to go if you must jump in this match.
Well, I'm going to start with this. This, frankly, is as bad as it gets. Okay. These 2 teams, if for those of you, if you have an opportunity, a site that I like to look at from time to time is called Team Rankings. I don't know if you've been there, Scott, or whatever,
yes,
from that standpoint, but I happened to just look. I was just curiosity. So I looked up that, and they have Akron, okay, at 132, and in the bottom, Kent State, okay, 133. 2 worst teams in the country, according to their rankings. So I'm looking at this and saying, this isn't a hold your nose pick. No, that doesn't do it justice in this one. I'm saying if you're sitting on the couch, this is a hazmat suit game. Okay. You want to be completely covered in the suit. You don't want to have anything get to your brain that you're watching such bad football that it clouds your judgment. This game, to me, is as bad as the Jets and the Giants game was this past Sunday. I think this has the potential to be worse. So what am I going to do? Well, all three of my power rankings have Akron winning against the Golden Flashes by 7 or more points. So begrudgingly, I'm going to give the 4.5 with Akron.
It's funny, Doug, because just, I don't know, a mile and a half or so down the street from my house is Bishop Gorman High School, number 1 ranked high school football team, I think, going into last week. And of course, with, nothing but great things happen there over the past 25 years. And they're always in the top 10 and I really got to say that's better quality football on a Friday night than this is on a Wednesday. So, but at least we're in agreement. Power ratings for both of us say the Akron Zips get the win and cover on Wednesday. Again, don't forget, everybody, to check out usagainstthespread.docsports.com. You'll get all the information there. When you go there, there's no obligation. You can choose if you want to subscribe and jump on board. And we certainly do appreciate all of you who have reacted to this already. And we'll have the shows up every Thursday and Friday. Thursday night college football, Friday night NFL. And again, as you see on your scroll at the bottom of the screen there, it's been pretty lucrative so far. So again, check it out, usagainstthespread.docsports.com. Any parting shots there, Mr. Upstone, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, one thing I just thought of that I thought of earlier in the week is that last week, one of the games was very similar to had a pick on a game. I want everybody to know, and this applies, I think, for both Scott and I keep track of my free picks, that this Kent State Akron game, nope. I'm just giving an opinion, okay, on this game. I don't want to be associated with a win or a loss as far as this game. So even if I'm right, I'll be happy just to take a pass on it.
I was going to give you free tickets, but, never mind. Anyway, he's Doug Upstone. I'm Scott Spreitzer. You guys know what to do. Let's put him in the win column, everybody. Talk to you on Thursday.